Good evening and welcome to this edition of The List on UWW-TV. I'm Dominic Ottens alongside Corey Moen, and for the next few minutes we'll present our top 5 sports stories of the week and discuss why they made our top 5. Did your top 5 make our list? Let's find out. At number 5, we jump to the Milwaukee Brewers in free agency. The Milwaukee Brewers have signed free agent outfielder Jackie Bradley Jr. to a contract that could guarantee him $24 million over the next 2 years. Now, Corey, do you think that this was a good signing by the Brewers?
Dom, yes, I do, and here's why. Because Jackie Bradley Jr. on offense is kind of like a microwave. Sometimes he can go hot, but then sometimes he can go cold. But on defense, he is a human highlight reel. He makes spectacular catches all across the field, and he can cover a lot of ground as well too.
Now, I would agree with you that this is probably one of the more interesting signings that the Brewers have had. In last week's edition, I talked about Ryan Braun and his absence from the bullpen and how exactly the Brewers would recover from that. Now, not necessarily from the skills side of it, but from the leadership aspect that Braun brought to the bullpen. Now, I think that Bradley Jr. can pull together the team a little bit. Obviously, it's going to be a different type of leadership from Braun, but this is an experienced player that the Brewers are going to need to get them through the season.
Okay, Dom, at number 4. Transition to story number 4. Houston is at number 4. The Houston plans to retire James Harden's number 13 jersey for his 8th record-breaking season with the team. Houston holds a franchise record for 3-point field goals made, free throws made, and assists. Do you agree with Houston's decision to retire his jersey?
I'm going to be a hot take on this one. Maybe I'm going to say absolutely not. I understand that James Harden is one of the top shooters in the league. And I understand that he is a player that can score, and he did a lot of great stuff for Houston. But when I think of retiring a number, I think of someone who gave something to the organization. I mean, yeah, he set a bunch of personal records, but I mean, you want championships. You want championship appearances at least. And Harden didn't give Houston that. So I don't see why they actually retired his number. I mean, again, he had a lot of personal stats, but nothing for the team.
Dom, I completely agree with you on that one. James Harden showed up this season out of shape. He disrespected the organization. He wanted a trade. He got the trade. And again, this is not a good move for the Houston Rockets if it's going to happen. Like you mentioned before, this is a team that, and now Houston's unfortunately in a rebuilding stage, so I don't agree with the move at all, and I don't think it should happen.
I think you were hitting the nail on the head when you said that he kind of disrespected Houston at the beginning of the season. He came in, like you said, he came in out of shape. He came in as someone who didn't really want to be with the team. And you're going to reward him for that kind of behavior? It just doesn't make sense to me. I know that NBA teams can operate just a little bit differently than NFL teams in regards to how you handle retiring of numbers and everything like that. But he kind of did disrespect the organization, and you're retiring his number for it. So now my question is, okay, hold on, like, does OKC retire his number? I mean, he did some stuff for them. I mean, he came off the bench and was 6th man of the year for 2 years in a row before he became an all-star in Houston. So now I guess the question is, now that he's on the Nets, are the Nets going to retire his number when he's done with them? But we're going to hold our thoughts right there. We got more coming up to the list, including Giannis Antetokounmpo adding to his legacy in the NBA. We'll be right back.
UWW-TV has been an important part of the campus and community since 1980.
Not only providing on-air learning opportunities for broadcast journalists and electronic media production students,
but educating and entertaining our audiences with award-winning news, live sports coverage, original programming,
as well as dedicating the mission to developing creative collaborations throughout campus.
For more information, visit our website, our 24/7 stream, and like us on Facebook.
Check us out because you gotta see what's on UWW-TV.
The James R. Conner University Center on UW-Whitewater's campus is a gathering place for students of various cultures, backgrounds, and lifestyles. The UC is a great source for information, campus tickets, meetings, entertainment, food, gallery exhibits, workshops, and all of your hot card needs. Whether you're looking for a place to study between classes or just a place to hang out with friends, the UC is the place for you. For more information on the UC, please visit uc.uww.edu or go to facebook.com/uc.uww.
Practicing social distancing is imperative to maintaining safety in the residence halls this year in lounges and common areas. For kitchens and laundry rooms, we have capped occupancy at 2 students in these spaces at any given time. Students will not be allowed to wait for their laundry in the laundry rooms, and if 2 students are already in the space switching laundry, please wait outside for one to leave. We ask that those using these spaces are efficient with their time, so all students have the option to use the common areas as needed. We thank you in advance for your cooperation.
Welcome back to the list on UWW-TV. Let's continue the countdown to this week's top sports stories. At number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the All-Star Game MVP award after shooting 16 of 16 from the field on Sunday night. What does this award mean for Giannis and his growing legacy?
I mean, it adds to it, but I don't think that this is anything that should go to his head, nor should it bolster his legacy too much. Yes, it's a really cool award and a really cool opportunity to be able to win the All-Star MVP, especially after being named after Kobe Bryant. But this is something that you don't want to go to Giannis's head. I mean, it's an award that is for a game that defense is not taken too seriously at all. I mean, it's a game that is about who can shoot the longest three or who can have the most glorious dunk in the game. So although putting up 16 for 16 is pretty impressive, I mean, I want to see Giannis do that in the regular season. Like, let's go back to the regular season and see if he can do it there.
Dom, you hit the nail on the head. I think this award meant everything to Giannis. I think the fact that Kobe trained him before his MVP season, I think that him winning the award in honor of Kobe Bryant, and I think last year it really killed him when unfortunately Kawhi Leonard won the award, and he even said so himself that he was thinking too much about the award, thinking too much about winning the award, and this year he was able to go out and have some fun.
Oh, but we're now going to transition to our second story. At number 2, we're jumping to the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals have recently come to a 2-year agreement with defensive end J.J. Watt, who could pay up to $31 million, including incentives. Now, was this a bad move by Arizona, or did they overpay for Watt?
They did overpay for Watt. Look, J.J. Watt it was a bad move by Arizona just because of the fact that J.J. Watt's body has betrayed him. It has really let him down, and I don't understand why Arizona made this move. But on J.J. Watt's side, this was a lifestyle move. Look, his wife is from Utah, and he loved just being out there, being out in the West Coast. So I think from that standpoint, it was a good move. But from Arizona's standpoint, it was not a good move just because of how much money they're going to be given to J.J. Watt.
Now, I saw some recent Badger fans posts of just like, oh man, he loves the red and white too much, so that's why he went over to Arizona. But I don't think this was necessarily a bad move. Arizona is in a division that has a lot of offensive talent, so this is someone that you're definitely going to bring in to bring in the energy up and bring the drive to be able to win the division later on in his career.
Stay tuned. We'll wrap up this edition of the list with our number 1 story of the week right after this.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Turn us on. Flip them off. 91.7 WSUW 91.7 is a student-run radio station serving the Whitewater area with a variety of original programs, live sports broadcasting, community events, and more. So turn us on 91.7 FM or stream us live at 917theedge.com.
UW Whitewater Athletics, a relentless pursuit of excellence across 22 sports, powered by a tradition of success. 20 national championships, 17 since 2002. 61 individual national titles. 24 National Athletes of the Year. 616 All-Americans. 115 Conference Scholar Athletes of the Year. 1,500 community service hours annually. Be a part of the tradition and join the Warhawk family.
In order to safely provide desk services, plastic barriers will be installed at all operational residence hall desks. Student employees will wear face coverings, and any lines that occur will be spaced out via visual markers on the floor.
Welcome back to The List on UWW-TV. It's time to reveal our #1 story of the week. At #1, we have Badger men's hockey and them taking home the title of Big Ten Conference champion. Now, it's the team's first conference title in 21 years. Which star players played a key role for the team's success this year?
Dom, I'm going to go with one guy. It was Cole Caulfield. Look, he's got 25 goals on 46 points, and he is a generational talent. He's supposed to be drafted high in the NHL draft. And Cole Caulfield is my pick, and also for the Badgers this year, we've been very good. We beat Minnesota a few times this year, and they finished second in the conference as well. So just congrats to the Badgers and Cole Caulfield.
I'm gonna have to jump right off of that and also say congrats to the Badgers and this much-earned title. Now, this is something that is definitely going to impact the conference tournament coming up here in just a little bit. Now, I think they have all the momentum in the world. This hasn't just been, for me, a one-player focus, but this has definitely been so much of a team effort. They've gotten the border battle wins. They've gotten the much-needed wins against top teams. So I think they have all the momentum in the world going into the tournament. So we'll see what happens, though. This is a very tough conference. But with that, that'll do it for this edition of The List. We'll be back next week to talk more sports headlines. For Corey Moen, I'm Dominic Ottens. We'll see you then.